Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kanisha, if you already don't know. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the books I read in June. So I read 12 books this month, which is honestly a lot. I didn't expect to read 12 books this month. I was just loving the books I was reading. I wasn't really loving the books I was reading. I really just was in a reading mood. Like, I just wanted to read, and that's what was happening. So I read 12 books, and let's talk about them. So let's get into the video. The first book I read is Flock by Kate Stewart. This is part of the Raven Hood trilogy. So there's 2 more books. They're just right behind me over there. And I gave this book a 1 star. Like, oh my god, this book, no plot. I don't know. Maybe there is a plot, but I didn't read any plot. Like, no words. I still have no idea what this book is about. Like, half of it didn't make sense to me. The characters, didn't really like the characters. They were kind of all just annoying and weird. Basically, our main character, Cecilia, she starts working on her, like, dad's business or something, whatever. But her and her dad have, like, a very bad relationship. And then one day she meets this guy. I cannot remember his name. I can't remember any of the guys' names, to be honest, but they're like brothers in this, and it's kind of like a weird dynamic. Like, yeah, like, I really don't know how to explain this book because there's really no plot, and then it's like, and there's this huge secret that's like this big thing which you don't even know what it's about because it's obviously a secret, but like, it didn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna continue reading this series because just I'm in shock. Like, I'm in shock that I even read this. And I don't understand how anyone is giving this, like, above a 3 stars. Because tell me what the plot is. Like, tell me. Someone DM me and tell me what the plot is. Because I for sure don't know what the plot is. But anyways, it was not a great start for the month. But, I mean, I was bound to have some, like, 1 stars. So the next book I read is Leather and Light by Brianne Weaver. This is the second book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. I don't know why I can't say that word. Ruinous. If you know Butcher and Blackbird, this is the second book to that book. And I gave this a 3.75 stars. I liked this book, okay? I liked it, but I felt like I needed more from the main characters. Basically, we have our contract killer, Lachlan, and then our female main character, Lark. Since Lachlan is a contract killer, he was meant to do this job that happened but somehow messed up, and Lark was a part of it. So to kind of protect one another, they decided to go into an arranged marriage. Really good, love the premise, but I just felt like we didn't get that much of Lachlan and Lark, if you know what I mean. Like, I thought there could have been many more moments with them, and it felt like it wasn't really focused on that. And also, I think there should have been a little bit more of the plot, because I think, if I remember, towards the end, everything just starts happening and it was kind of resolved so quickly, and I'm like, girl, what was the point of the whole book? Like, if you can resolve an issue in just a couple pages and it was the whole purpose of the book, like, come on, are you kidding me? Yeah, so that's why it's a 3.75 stars. It's not as good as Butcher and Blackbird. Like, I just love Butcher and Blackbird so much. But Leather and Lark is still good. I'm still gonna continue reading the rest of the trilogy. Next, I kind of just went on my Kindle and just started reading a lot of books on my Kindle. So the first one is Keep It in the Family by John Mars. I originally gave this 3 stars, but I bumped it down to 2 because honestly, don't really remember the plot too much. When I was reading it, it did feel like kind of terrifying a little bit because it is a mystery and thriller, but overall I'm like, no, I'm not gonna really think about that book ever. So Mia and Finn, they basically move into this house, and one day they discover something in the attic, and it kind of says like, I can save them all or something like that. And obviously Mia, she's also pregnant, so she's freaking creeped out, and then some family secrets start to spill out and some crazy things start to happen. The ending was pretty good from what I remember. The ending was pretty good, but the rest of the book, I mean, I feel like you could kind of guess of what's gonna happen, because I'm not even gonna say it because that might be a spoiler, but you could kind of guess what's gonna happen. I think it's still a good book if you're kind of in a reading slump, like you need to get out and you need like a quick, easy book to read. That is the book to read. So still love it, but I wouldn't think about it ever again. Next I've read is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I gave this a 3 stars. Ocean Vuong's writing is, first of all, amazing. Oh my god, it's amazing. Like, writes such beautiful lines, that very relatable lines if you are a child of an immigrant parent. And so there's some stuff that like was relatable to me. The reason why I gave this a 3 star, while it is beautiful, everything about the story is beautiful, I just thought like there's too much, it's too poetic. And I understand that maybe that was the point of the book, but I just wanted just like regular lines, you know what I mean? And also at some points I just got confused of where I was while reading. I was like, what is happening right now? Like I would have to go back and reread a few lines, which, I mean, that's not a good thing, but I still like the book because it is relatable to me, because I am a child from immigrant parents. So yeah, I understand why people like it. It just wasn't for me. Next I read is one of the Bridgerton books, The Duke and I. This is the first book, so this is Daphne and Simon's book. I gave this 2 stars. This was not good. I love Bridgerton, the TV show. Love the TV show. Love it so much. Loved it since the first season, and you know what? I was like, why don't I just read one of the books? Because I haven't read the books, and oh my god, the book is horrible. The book is not good. This one is about Simon and Daphne. Obviously, Daphne is from like a very like well-known family, the Bridgerton family, and Simon is the Duke. So when he comes into town, Daphne and him decide to start fake dating to kind of get her to have more marriage proposals and more guys to be interested into her. And also just for when he came back into town, he was getting bombarded by women. So it's kind of a way to help them both. Obviously, there are still some scenes that were very similar to the TV show, but I think the TV show did it better than the book, because the book just, it feels like they have a lack of chemistry. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like really short and very quick to the point, where I'm like, they don't really have that much chemistry in this book, unlike the TV show. And also there's a specific scene in the book that does also happen in the TV show, but I think the TV show does it better. I wish they did take it out, but the book is a horrible way of doing that. Like, oh my god, I don't know how that was allowed to be written into a book, because I was just so uncomfortable, and that's why I gave it 2 stars. Just not my favorite Bridgerton. I don't know if I'm gonna read the rest of the Bridgerton stories, because I'm just like, I'm not connected with these characters in book form, but I'm connected with them on a TV show, so we'll see what happens. And then finally I have read The Legacy of Gods. I've only read up to 3. I'm currently reading God of Ruin right now, but I read God of Malice, God of Pain, and God of Wrath. God of Malice I gave 3 stars. God of Pain gave it 4.75 stars, and God of Wrath gave it 4 stars. So the first one, God of Malice, we have Killian and Glendon. I think that's how you say her name. And basically, Glendon, she kind of loses her friend from like suicide, and Glendon is just not having a great time. She's having a horrible time, and she decides that maybe she doesn't want to live anymore. So that's how she meets Killian, and it's a really bad meeting. Like, I'm gonna say the first couple chapters, I did not like that man. I did not like that man until like 100 pages in. I kind of liked him, but then after, he would just turn me off, and I'm like, well, this is just back and forth. Like, I'm just not really liking him at this point. A little bit like a psychopath, good girl, boy obsessed, dark romance, 100% dark romance, no doubt in my mind, it's dark romance. I mean, like, it was a good book. It was a good introduction to the series, I'll say that. I think it was a good introduction because you also get the tiny bits of the other characters, and I am so excited to read the rest of them. Next we have is God of Pain, which follows Annika and Creighton. I think that's how you say his name. Basically, Annika, she is a mafia princess, and Creighton is part of like the King family, and it's kind of like a little bit of rivalry. Like, it's like kind of like mafia vibes. Annika, she doesn't want to get married off to like some Russian random dude. So she is looking to fake date someone, and she happens to kind of fall in that category with Creighton. But Creighton is kind of like a little grumpy, like it's grumpy sunshine, because he is just like not usually a happy person. He doesn't really like to talk either. And so Annika is trying to bring out that side of him, and some crazy shit happens because obviously it's dealing with kind of like the mafia. So there's a lot of backstory, but also like secrets that are spilled, and it was really good. There were some parts that got me really emotional. I was like, oh my god, like oh my god. I was just crying my eyes out, like reading this at like 3 a.m, just crying my eyes out. It was so good. I did not expect to love God of Pain because I don't think that's a lot of people's favorite, but for me that's my favorite. And then next we have God of Wrath, which follows Jeremy and Cecilia. It's featuring me editing right now, and I realize her name is pronounced Cecily, not Cecilia. So just ignore every time I say Cecilia, it's Cecily. Jeremy is the brother of Anakin, so he's like a mafia. Would you call them a mafia prince? I have no idea. Maybe you would, because she's a mafia princess, so when you call him the mafia prince? Maybe. This is kind of like an enemies to lovers book, because Cecilia doesn't really like Jeremy, and then Jeremy also doesn't really like Cecilia. I'm gonna say it's very similar-ish to the plot of Haunting Adeline because he does stalk her. Yeah, he does stalk her, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of really weird. But basically Cecilia is kind of in love with Landon. I think that's his name. He is the main character for God of Ruin. But Landon doesn't give a shit about her. And I just love Jeremy because he just does like the small little details, you know what I mean? Like he cooks for her, he buys her stuff that he knows she likes, because obviously he is stalking her, and he just cares for her, which I feel like is so different from a dark romance, because I feel like dark romance, they do not give a shit about each other and they don't really care in a sense. But this one was like, it was like he was just doing like the small little things, and I was like, oh my god, you are better, you are so good. Honestly, this was a pretty tame book. Like God of Wrath, this is a pretty normal couple. Like from the other two I read, this is a normal couple, which is really weird because I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, him and Cecilia are just so good together. I think they just support one another really good, if you know what I mean. So that's my favorite. That's one of my favorites. So yeah, that is the Legacy of Gods. I can't wait to read the rest of them. Specifically God of Fury. I have been hearing everything about Nikolai and Brandon, so I can't wait. Next I read is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is like it's just like pretty much like kind of like a short novel. It was only like less than 300 pages. I think I gave it 3.25 stars, and it's basically a retelling of Dracula and his 3 brides, and it's kind of like queer LGBTQ plus friendly book, because he has there's 2 girls and then 1 guy. So instead of doing like all 3 brides are female, there's like a difference. Constanza, she is like the main bride. She is like the first bride of Dracula. She's kind of like writing like a last love letter to him, because basically Dracula is like hiding some shit. He is hiding some secrets, and they slowly find out, and it was this whole thing. I thought the book could have been longer, because while it is like less than 300 pages, everything just goes by so fast, you know what I mean? And I feel like I didn't really get to connect with the characters enough to like love them. My only critique. But I love the epilogue. Epilogue was really good too as well. So a good book. I think it's a good quick book if you want to read during the fall. Like it's a perfect fall Halloween book. And then I read My Husband by Maud Ventura. I gave this one 3 stars. Basically, we follow this character who is obsessed with her husband, like seriously obsessed with her husband, like very obsessed. Like most of the book is talking about how she is so obsessed with her husband, like she loves this man so much. And I think it's such a good book if you love like the unhinged characters, feminine rage type of books. Like towards the end, I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Because in the beginning, I was like, wow, this lady loves her husband so much. And then towards the end, I was like, oh my god, it all makes sense. So yeah, it was a pretty good book. It's a little bit confusing sometimes because I think it is translated from a different language, so maybe the sentences are a little bit weird, but overall, still liked it. I still would recommend it 100%. And the next I read is Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave it 3 stars. This is a short story. It's literally 88 pages. It's not that long. I was just curious, and actually it was pretty good. I do wish this was a longer book. I wish it was just a real book, like a real story, because it's written in like letters between 2 people because they found out that their husband and wife are cheating on each other. So they kind of start talking to one another. And yeah, it's really good. The ending got me by surprise. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. So it's still good. Loved it. And then lastly, the last book I read is The Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. This was so good. This is a 4.25 stars. This is the perfect summer read. If you want to get into a summer book, this is the book you need to read right now. If you haven't read it, I need you to go buy it right now. Are you doing it? Are you buying the book? Anyways, we follow our main character, Ali. She lost her mom 2 years ago, and she is recently a single mom and going through a divorce. But she's not really sad about the separation. She's kind of lost herself. Like, she doesn't really know who she is as a person. And one day she goes to the park, and and then her dog pees on this guy, Ethan, which is our like male main character. And it's almost, I guess you can say, a me cute in the sense that her dog peed on him. And Ethan shows her like a whole new world that she has not been able to discover since her mom's death and also after the divorce. And it's like really good. It's a little bit emotional. Like, this is the perfect summer read. Like, just sitting by the lake or the beach and reading this book, you're gonna get into the vibes. So those are all the books I read in June. Hopefully I could keep up because I want to reach my reading goal so badly, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But I mean, I'm enjoying the books I'm currently reading, so yeah. If you like this video, I hope you can subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.